Welcome to the Kortex Media Podcast, Marketing Accelerator, your compass for navigating the dynamic world of marketing and business growth. I'm Korson Schmidt, founder of Kortex Media. Our mission is to equip marketing agencies with the custom growth solutions they need to unlock massive revenue increases and scale their business. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today, we're joined by a leader in the creative and strategic marketing space, George Zwierko, CEO of Rumbo. He has a career journey that is masterclass in resilience. Starting his first internship at Madison Avenue at the age of 16, George's past includes both serving 9 years in the Army, founding multiple companies, now leading Rumbo for 17 years. With a background in art direction and a long list of prestigious awards, including multiple national Telly Awards, George and Rumbo specialize in high-impact creative development, film, and vital multicultural marketing. George, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
No worries. I'm excited to get into this one, get to know you, get to know Rumbo, and kind of really hear some deep experience and knowledge from the industry after a long background. So at the beginning of your journey, you founded Rumbo after closing your first agency during the 2008 recession, and now you've kind of pivoted into specializing in multicultural marketing and video marketing. Do you mind telling us who Rumbo is today? What are your core services? What do you guys offer? Just so the audience can get to know you, get to know Rumbo, and put two and two together.
Sure. So Rumbo today, that's a really interesting question because over the years, especially when you own an agency and any agency owner is going to agree to this, you become so many different things to so many different brands. And that's because of, we fall victim to the economy, to things like COVID, so you have to pivot constantly. So when we started the agency, we were 100% a multicultural agency. That was our core. It still represents how we approach marketing. We still look at it through a multicultural lens. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say that's our sole focus today. We really pride ourselves on our ability to develop creative campaigns. So creative is what we pride ourselves on. We specialize in creative, so we would consider ourselves more of a creative boutique than a multicultural agency. And when I say, I'm going to go back to when I said that we still look at it through a multicultural lens. So when we started the agency, our sole focus was helping brands connect to underserved audiences, underserved populations, and then kind of evolved to where now we're more focused on creative development, but we still approach every project, every brand, every client, our consumer base through that cultural lens. I feel like it really helps us tune in to who the audience is, and it helps us fine-tune those messages, create campaigns that are relevant, and sometimes that's culturally relevant, but in the most part, it's just relevance across the board, because we feel everything that we do has to be part of a conversation or a conversation starter.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the differentiating things about our shop is that we still take that approach.
You made a great point at the start of that, and that's that you guys had to pivot into who you are today. And that's with any industry in general right now is the biggest time to pivot because we're seeing a big intersection of AI, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Of course we will.
We have to, right? Like we can't kind of skip that conversation. It's the biggest thing that's happening in this decade. So we gotta touch on it at least for a little bit.
A little bit.
So your guys' core services today, you guys focus more on the creative side. Do you mind giving us an example on how you guys have helped a specific client with your guys' core services and maybe the outcome that they were looking to get and that you helped them achieve through a quick case study?
Sure. There's so many different case studies. Some are my favorite. Honestly, some of these case studies that I've had in my history are not the best stories. They're never like the stories somebody hopes to hear. I believe that some of these case studies leverage success while I think you can't forget about the bombs
Yeah.
and the failures. I
We all
think
have it, right?
studies are just as important, right? Because
They are.
you learn from them. Um, I think some of like my favorite campaigns that they're kind of like micro case studies. These were the projects that allowed us to be flex a little bit more creative muscle, take a lot more, take creative chances that you wouldn't normally take,
Hmm.
explore avenues that typically we wouldn't even recognize from the onset. Um, and these are the ones that I felt had more of a experiential aspect to it. Someone can connect with the brand at a level that is almost like a private conversation. It's a unique conversation. Um, so there was one campaign that we did a few years back. It was for a credit union,
Okay.
and they were looking. They would do these events from time to time. These community events, be a festival, a music fest, a food festival of some sort. And the one thing that rubs me the wrong way about some of these festivals, or even the rest of my team, uh, we all agree on this, is that some of these festivals, you work with an event planner, you sign up, you get a table, you get a tent, and there's really no interaction with the crowd, the community. There's nothing engaging about it. It's kind of like you sit in a tent, you sit at a table, you've just spent a lot of money to be there, and your audience only engages with your brand if they come to you.
Hmm.
And yeah, you can go to the crowd, you can mix and mingle, you can meet and greet, you can do all those types of things, but there's no experience. There's no how I engage the brand.
Hmm.
So we were like, well, what if we have our team out there, our street team, our engagement team, our hype team, whatever you want to call it. And what if they're not talking about the brand at all, but instead of just wearing representing the brand with a logo T-shirt or a logoed shirt, or passing out pamphlets, or giveaways, tchotchkes, whatever you want to call it. What if they had a message on their body
Hmm.
that really got attention and got people hyped, got people interested, got people talking, got people pulling out their phones, taking pictures, right? So this was a few years back, and Tampa's an urban city. Tampa's, it's a fairly decent sized city. And so we were at this festival, and we hired this young hype team. So they were fairly, good looking young men. And so we had them in all the gear representing the brand.
Hmm.
But because they were young and this was a music festival, we had um, like some young men do, they wear their pants low. So we're like, so what if they're wearing their pants low, but where you see their underwear behind them had our brand message? And so we were promoting auto loans for this credit union, and
Hmm.
so the message printed on the underwear that was visible, that part below the shirt and just above the jeans, said, if you think this is low, you should see our auto loan rates. And so they were just walking around the festival, and they got stopped multiple times by people wanting to take pictures. They were posting pictures, they were sharing content. We even had people come by the booth asking if they could purchase the underwear, which that was a little bizarre.
Hmm.
But what we found was that the engagement was high enough, and it led to conversation. It led to people wanting to come to the booth versus them just happen to be walking by and
Hmm.
stopping by the booth. So people were outwardly trying to find this credit union. And I think that it's that attitude that we took with creativity, that it's about starting a conversation. It's about engaging your audience in a way that's unique and different. It's about making something that's memorable,
Yeah.
and something that people find a little bit more entertaining
Def-
versus just a
That
message
definitely would have been entertaining, that's for sure. You definitely checked all those boxes off with that campaign.
So those types of things, aside from the ones that, the traditional or digital media campaigns that we run, that one always stood out to me as like a really good success story for how you can. And when you look at budgets too, because that's another thing that you always run into in marketing and advertising, is that we're up against budgets.
Yep.
And sometimes the budgets aren't there to do some of the things we'd like to do, and you kind of have to scale the project to meet the budget, right? Or scope the work accordingly. But there are ways that you can work with very little to have the highest impact in the smallest space. And I think that's one thing that I pride our shop on, is that our creative people, the ones that work with us today, the ones that worked with us before, have found ways to kind of shake things up when we didn't think when sometimes you think you're not going to be able to.
Yeah. And back to it again, like you kind of checked all those boxes with that campaign, right? Like, honestly,
Right.
It's an amazing idea for a campaign, because no one would have ever expected, no one would have ever thought of it. And especially in an event that there isn't much promotion and for your brand that you guys are working with, and in general,
Right.
in a music festival scene like that. So the approach that you guys came up with is truly amazing. And that's the differentiator within marketing, is you need to have something that does stand out and checks all the boxes that you just spoke about earlier as
Correct.
well.
That's right.
So, I mean, George, you guys have worked with some pretty big brands as well. And like, for example, Bud Light and Legoland, and those are definitely some amazing projects that you guys would have worked on as well. What are some of the biggest trends you're seeing in this industry right now? Like, AI is one, but let's save that conversation for later. Other than AI, what is some of the biggest trends you're seeing in the industry that is affecting Rumbo in a positive or maybe a negative way?
Sure. I think it's not just. I think it's some of these trends happened over time. Some of them impact us immediately. Like AI came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere, but it came at us faster than expected.
Definitely.
But I think some of the biggest trends that are affecting the industry is a shift in consumer media consumption. I think where people want to have the message, where they want to see the message, where they engage most with the message. So of course, online content, digital content is having more of a presence. Traditional media is starting to kind of shift, and we're finding ways to layer that on because, creating awareness is important. But I really think that what we're going to find, especially with, a younger audience, is that our online presence is going to increase. We're going to continue to live in this digital world. AI is going to, of course, have more of a part in that. We're going to have to learn how to incorporate that into our mix. But I think that would be the biggest shift, is how people consume information and where they like getting that information.
Yeah.
And again, while that isn't something that's new, I think the uptick is there. I think we're seeing a huge shift in media budgets to that, and away from being, incorporating some of the old media that we're used to. And I'm sure people might listen to this and may disagree, but like things like broadcast, traditional radio,
Yeah.
traditional out of home, they're finding ways to kind of like carve a niche in an acquisition space. But it's only a matter of time before you can't mold something into something that it can't be in a
Yeah.
digital world.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start to see that, where like TV is going to be completely streaming, audio is going to be 100% streaming,
Yeah. I agree.
and that's where it's going to be.
It's definitely
I think
making,
that would be the biggest trend.
it's definitely making an impact on this industry, because I mean, even look at all the sports; they're all going into streaming platforms. Like, look at the big deal that UFC just signed
Yeah.
with Paramount.
Yeah.
I think it was Paramount. Yeah, with Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount.
And you look at NHL has a deal with Prime where they have Prime nights where they only broadcast on Prime, and we're going to start seeing, and everything is kind of switching more towards a subscription-based model into these bigger sideload industries. So we're going to see a lot more streaming and subscription-based rather than your cable TV, and then same with radio, right? Like, we have a radio in our kitchen that's always going, and you're always listening to it. But there's not a lot of people that do that anymore. That was something that kind of got passed a long time ago. People have Echoes and Series or whatever they have in their Amazon Echo, I think that's what it is, in their house now, so they can just ask to play music when they can, and it's still coming from their telephone. It's not coming from
That's right.
a radio. So that landscape of marketing and advertising is definitely going to make a huge change and a huge jump in what it is now. But back to marketing in general, with the streaming platforms, you can still have ads. It's just going to be a little bit of a different landscape on how to run them and how to attract them. So with this conversation, though, in the direction it's going, where do you see today, like at this moment, where do you see that number one marketing platform being used? Like, what is the number one go-to? Like, we have a lot of social media content. There's a lot of paid media. There's a lot of you can do so. There's email, there's LinkedIn, there's so much you can do, but what seems to be the number one that you see working the best for agencies themselves, George?
I would say, social. I think social is going to be the biggest platform for any brand. If you don't have a presence on social media, and not only having a presence, it's using social media the way it's intended to be used in order to drive engagement with your customers. I think we're still learning how to leverage that. I think people at a time felt if I just create content, it'll engage, it'll increase viewership. It'll engage the way I want my message to reach, the audience I'm talking to. It's more than that, because if I can drive eyeballs to a post, and I can from there drive them to a landing page and so on. But if that conversion that's not there, if I don't convert, someone who has come into contact with an ad, viewed the ad, took the next step, if I don't close that, if I can't close the door, then it's wasted space. Mm-hmm. Right. It's almost just as wasted as running a broadcast commercial with no way for me to really turn that person into a customer, or know if I'm turning that person into a customer without the tracking mechanism and the metrics in it. There's just no way. Right. So I think social is going to be a big driver for brands. Mm-hmm. And I think it's also a great way for smaller brands that don't have a lot of bigger budgets to really carve out a place for themselves. Because you look at digital, it's an extremely affordable way to get in, and that's across the board. With connected TV, whatever. Yeah. You still carve a niche out for yourself. You can find place there at an affordable rate. But if you're not like layering all that together and leading it down, further down a funnel, to use a marketing term, that we're not doing any of that, right? Then it's just wasted. So I think we have to be smart about how we leverage social. Use social in a way that people are also the way they live their lives. So if, for example, like we're trying to convince some of our financial partners, so we work with credit unions and banks, that our next space is going to be having the ability for someone to conduct some sort of financial business, whether that's me signing up for a credit card, opening an account, getting more information on a home loan, whatever that financial product is. They have to be able to do that through their social platform. I should be able to say, wow, I'm really interested in this credit card because I saw this post on Instagram, Now I'm going to click that. I'm going to apply for this credit card. I should be able to conduct some of that, some of that financial business, those transactions that I want on those types of platforms. Seeing big banks do it, they're starting to get wise to that. I think some major credit cards are starting to get wise to that. But I think because they know that that's where that new share of wallet's coming from. It's coming from a younger
Yeah.
generation, a younger audience that's digital first,
Yeah.
right? They don't go to a brick and mortar. They don't go to a branch. They do some of their transactions online, but primarily they live by their phone.
Yeah.
So it all has to go through that device.
And everyone and their dog is on social media these days. And
Right.
it's a tool out there. It's free. I mean, you can pay, but it's free. And why not build a brand around it? Use it to educate and use it as a tool. And a lot of people are on there. So use it as a tool and leverage it to get attractions. And you have data to back everything up to see what worked, what didn't.
Well, retailers are doing it. I mean, I can order a pair of Nikes on Instagram. I just hit the link, place my order. It goes through their cart, whatever they're using. My order comes in, but I did the entire thing within a social media framework, not going to the to a website.
Yeah.
It all happened on one platform.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how efficient and how efficient everything is. This day and age, with the digital day and age, and consumers want it to be more user friendly. They want everything to be easy, right? We don't. A lot of people don't want to lose their spot in their For You page to go look at a website, right? A lot of people want to stay on their For You page, make sure they don't miss that next video that they want to watch, right? So,
Exactly.
and with your content being there, whether it's organic or paid, you still have a huge impact on decision making from the consumer that is watching your video. And organic, you have a great way to educate. Paid, you can, as long as you do it properly, you can have great results into people getting your product and knowing your brand just a little bit more as well. So great point there, George. And now, I mean, I said it was efficient. I said it was more automated. So we have to get into the big discussion with AI. How are you guys leveraging this tool that evolves so quickly and evolves every day? How are you guys leveraging it to make your systems more efficient, or use it to have more time to focus on your client's project? Or how are you guys really leveraging this amazing tool we now have?
Well, we're just like everyone else, we're still learning.
Yeah.
And even though there's a multitude of AI experts and certified AI folks out there, they're all just learning too, because this thing is changing every day.
For sure.
Because it's learning, right? It will continue to evolve and it will continue to get better, and it is. Every platform is getting better. Every AI tool is getting better. We use it for a number of different things. We'll use it in the planning strategy phase. It really has helped us streamline, from a time perspective, what it takes to really deeply dive into a strategy. Because the access to research material, information, consumer data, trends, industry, things that are happening in the industry, the access to that in such a quick and short amount of time, to have that access to that information quickly is critical. And the longer it takes, from an agency perspective, and depends on your relationship with your client, but the longer that takes, the more it's costing you money as an agency owner. Because sometimes, not all the time, sometimes that's just not billable. None of that can be billable. Sometimes it is. Depends on the client and the relationship. But for us to streamline that process alone allows us to save money. And it allows us to produce something that is really in depth. Now, I think some people get into the habit of I'm going to throw something into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever platform you're using, and I'm just going to take that information and that's it, right? And that's that can't be it. You have to still go through, comb through it, customize it to the needs of your client, customize it to what you understand about your client, their goals, the market that you're in, because you got to remember, there's only so much that AI really knows and can produce, right? It's not. I think we can't lose sight that this isn't a. It's not. It's not It's not a perfect world. That information isn't perfect information. There's a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
You're going to get answers that aren't always reliable. Sometimes not even accurate. I mean, I've had AI apologize because it gave me false information. Right? It'll present data as if, yeah, this is it. This is great, and it's not, right? So you have to customize it to fit your needs. So you have to treat it like a tool, because that's what it is. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool that just makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the other way we use it too is during once we get through strategy and we get into maybe some campaign planning and project work, we'll use it for storyboarding. We'll use it for client presentations. I remember when we would have to sit there during a pitch, or like preparing for a pitch, or to present a campaign. And, we're not at the stage where we're shooting photography. We're not at the stage where, that we're still just planning. We're still just concepting and developing. So having the access to AI tools where we can get closer to what the client can expect the final to look like, I think is key. Because sometimes these concepts get so they can be so lofty that there's no way to really visually showcase it. At least before you couldn't do that. You would then, therefore, I remember in my career we'd hire illustrators to sketch storyboards and sketch campaigns out for us. We'd have to present it as art, as really, in the truest sense. But now you can use AI tools to really dial in on an idea to the point where, yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I want to present to the client, and I think this is what the client's going to understand the campaign to look like. Yep. So I think that's key. And then finally, we also use it when we're doing video production and we need a cutaway, we need some B-roll that we didn't get. We can use it as filler. Mm-hmm. It's hard to use it for anything other than that. I mean, I could probably create a complete product spot using an AI tool. But when we shoot a commercial for, let's say something that's not consumer product, but requires a talking head, or requires an interview, you can't replace those things. You still need to have boots on the ground. You actually need to have a production crew. But I think when we need to fill in the gaps, we can leverage AI to do that. And again, that saves us money, saves us time, saves the client money, saves them time. Yeah. And if you have one of those quick turnaround, and even some of the stock platforms that we rely on utilize AI, and it's gotten better, trying to find the exact image you're looking for an ad, for a campaign. I think sometimes you get a client that's like, oh, by the way, we need something. We need it fast. I think, having these tools available to us to make that happen is great. Yeah. So we're embracing it. You have to. You can't run from it. It's going to be here. Will it replace jobs? It's hard to say no. Yeah. But you still need people. Yeah. I read somewhere, somebody said it, I can't remember who, but AI is great at the execution, but it still takes somebody to come up with the creative idea, to prompt it the right way. So you still need the creative thought. Yeah, definitely. Right? And so you still need somebody to do that. Yes. So I don't think it will replace creative people. And if you could, I think there's going to be room for that. Yeah. But it may help offset some of the work, some of the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people will find a way to utilize the tool
Definitely.
to be better at their craft.
It's a amazing tool. Everyone, though, the reason it is never, in my opinion, never going to take over the creative side. I mean, it can, it's because everyone is so unique in their own way, and that's what makes creative brands and creative marketing agencies, differentiate one another. Is because everyone has a different mind. Everyone has a different output on what they specifically would do in this situation and in this brand, and whether it be the imaging, the logos, the wording, the story behind the brand. Everyone has their own direction on what they would go with that, and that's what makes brands unique. Where with AI, I mean, you can prompt it to have different thoughts, but it's not coming from your specific story, and I feel like it hits home on if it is your specific story, and then leveraging it as a tool, like you said. It's out there, it's free. We might as well use it to maybe just get an opinion on something. Or like I had someone on the podcast, actually, this was a great idea. I've actually never heard of this. I don't know. It's so basically what they did is they made different personalities in ChatGPT. So prompt it to think differently in a different personality in their ICP. And then they would input, whether it be text or ad copy or whatever, into those different personalities and get the different opinions of these different ICPs within their market, and using it just as an opinion maker for their content or for their emails or etc. And it's a great way to get into second opinion before you move forward with it. And there's so many ways to use it, and it's really, like you said, saves time. Instead of you going out and testing it, you just test it on the AI and get a little opinion, so you have a little bit more data to use before you go push it out into a full campaign. And then the automation. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think technology scares people. I used to teach a class in advertising history, and it was interesting because you talk about the invention of the radio, and then how did that play a part in advertising and communication, the invention of the television. You talk about these different technologies at the time, and websites, in the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You look at these different things, and there's this automatic fear, like, I don't understand it. This is going to change everything. This is going to eliminate jobs. And they look at it from, through this lens that it's a bad thing, instead of looking at it through the fact that it's actually better for us. It's helping us. Yeah. It's just going to improve the way we live. And I think that's how we have to embrace AI. It's just, it's that way. It's only going to make things better.
And then there's the automation side of things as well, where you can build these agents to do simple tasks, which are also saving you a lot of time as well.
Completely.
Also an amazing aspect of it that are only getting better. There's only more integrations coming in within these different programs, only saving companies, people in general, more time.
That's right.
Focus on their client and the future of the client. Speaking about the future there, George, what does the future, in your opinion, what's the future of Rumbo look like, and where do you want to see it in the coming years?
Wow, that's a great question. I think that where I'd like to see the agency, I would like to see continued growth. Obviously, I want to be able to expand the shop and grow like any other agency owner. But I don't want to lose sight of who we are. We have a set of principles, and we believe in strongly about the culture we've created here in this agency. And we only want to bring in clients and work with clients that respect that, as well as we respect, their culture. And we want the alignment so that we don't lose sight of how we can better serve clients and better serve their customers. We want to grow with our clients. So I don't think we have any aspirations of being like a significantly large agency. Yeah. I think we always want to stay in our lane and provide the type of intimate customer service that we've had over the years. We like clients that have been with us. We have clients that have been with us 10 plus years.
Wow.
We want to maintain that type of relationship with our clients. It's familiar, it's friendly, it's comfortable,
Yeah.
but we feel that we're ingrained in their business. We feel like we're a part of their family. So when we offer an opinion or we consult on a problem or we strategize on a campaign, we feel like we're heard, we feel like we're respected, and we feel like we're going to make a difference for them.
Yeah. And that's what you want, right? You want to have a partnership mentality within the partnership, because at the end of the day, you guys are working together to get the best results for client.
Completely.
And
Completely.
and your goal is to help them move forward. So at the end of the day, you are a partner in them reaching their goal to whatever aspect they reached out in the first place. And clients don't like finding new agencies to work with. So if you can keep everything full transparent and trustworthy throughout this partnership, they're going to keep coming back and asking you to do more, and they're going to trust you that much more in the future of working with them.
Correct.
That's amazing. And I remember in our last conversation, you mentioned that right now you guys have a very small team, and you used to, in the past agency that you did run, you had a bigger team, and you said you would never go back to that because you find it fun. Everyone has their own job. They know what they're doing, and they're all growing with you and Rumbo, which is amazing. Now, you mentioned you want to grow and work with the right people. What seems to be the best steps you guys have in place to reach that goal, George?
To reach the right client, to reach the right, is that what you're referring to?
Like for you guys to reach the right client, for you guys to reach the people that you guys want to work with, what seems to be your guys' go-to method for reaching the right people? Because maybe there's agencies on here that want to do the same as you. They want to stay small, but they want to work with the right agency or right clients, and the right people. How are you guys going about this challenge?
So other than lead generation, putting that aside, like just chasing business or knocking on doors or referral always works really well for us. But it's when we have those initial conversations with a potential client, the discovery call, the meet and greet, the very first time we say hello to one another. Usually on that call, we know whether this is going to be a good fit. So the discovery call is always the most important thing in any relationship. I know a lot of people get excited about the opportunity. It could be a brand that excites them. It could be the reputation of a company that excites them. And they're thinking one thing. They're thinking revenue. They're like, wow, this is going to be really good for my bottom line. This is going to be significant revenue for the company. But sometimes you have to put that aside, right? Because revenue is great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But if making that revenue means that you have to have a toxic work environment, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
No amount of money is worth a toxic work environment.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to learn to say no. And that's one of our principles. We have 8 principles. One of the principles is recognizing that we have the ability to say no. We can say no to the client, no matter who that client is, how big they are, and what their reputation might be. Because you'll get on a call, that first discovery call, and you'll know right off the bat what's expected of you, what your role is going to be, whether or not you and your team will be respected. And it's not, and I've worked with a lot of clients where the way they spoke to somebody on my creative team or the way they spoke to somebody on my media team just was just pure disrespect. They didn't look at us as a partner. They looked at us as a vendor,
Yeah.
or a service provider. And that's not who we are. The other thing too is some clients come to the table and there's a particular product that may not align with you and your belief or what you feel is right. And so you have to also be able to look at that and go, that's just not something that we would even want to help you promote or sell or whatever. So I think it's those those early conversations that you have that really determine whether or not this is going to be a good fit for your agency and your agency's culture. I think keeping that top of mind and first and foremost is critical.
Yeah.
We have a very unique culture with our shop, and we have families first. Your personal time is important because it applies to your mental health. And having employees, and I hate using even the term employees, but working with people and giving them an opportunity to kind of just find be in a good mental space when they come to work or when they work on a project or when they work in a client. It's important. And so matching that with the right client is equally.
That's amazing. And making sure alignment. I love that. You guys make sure that there's alignment between you and the company you guys want to work with before stepping in. And I love your morale on having fun and being happy, right? That's
important.
Most important thing at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. Like if you come to work and you say, or you start your day and you say, I got something at my kid's school today. I need to be there. Of course, that's where you need to be.
Yeah.
Be there and then come back to this when you're done being there.
Yeah.
Put that first, because if you're in a good space and your heart is full, you're going to come back here and you're going to work.
Yeah.
I think you're going to put all into the project, or you're going to be here 100% versus not because you couldn't do something with your child at school.
That's amazing.
That's extremely important.
It is. Yeah. People.
And then clients are happy.
Yeah.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, clients are happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. That's the clients pay your bills, which pay your employees, your workers, right? I hate using that term too. We need to find a new term for it. Employees, workers. I wouldn't use any of those. Just say your partners. They're your partners. But at the end of the day, they pay your partners as well. Moving everything forward as a team. There we go. Your team. That's what I was looking for. So this is like my high in the sky question. If you had a magic wand that you could fix one challenge or one thing that's holding you guys back in Rumbo today, what would that one thing be?
Oh, the one thing holding us back. I would think it's probably, more on how we find new business. I think those are obstacles and hurdles that we tend to help our clients figure out. Clients come to us, they're like, I'm trying to build a customer base. I'm looking for new clientele. And we find ways to help them do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's always difficult on this side of the fence for agencies, shops to do that for themselves. Like when you talk to any agency owner, the majority of work, when you ask, how do you get new business? How do you chase new? They say referral. Referral.
Yeah.
And we tend to rely on that. We're like, it's true. It's like a big chunk of our business is based on the fact that we worked with a client and they knew somebody and they referred them to us. Mm-hmm. But so it's trying to find a better way to change the way we talk about our shop. That's something we're currently working on. So you've kind of asked the question at the right time, because we're trying to change our dialect. We're trying to change our tone, our approach. Mm-hmm. It's so easy for us to go, and correct me if I'm wrong. You tell me if you think this is wrong. But if I'm at a networking event and I see and I'm there because it's an opportunity for me to meet potential clients, mm-hmm. and I'm having a conversation, as soon as I say I own an advertising agency, I think the wall goes up. I think right then and there, conversation is over.
Yeah.
One, for a couple of reasons. One, the term agency is confusing to some people. Don't quite know what that means. Two, I think it's going to be expensive. Whatever you're saying means it's more than one person. So now that requires more money.
Yeah.
And Three, I think they feel that whatever I'm selling is just way too complicated for what they really need.
Yeah.
So I'm there to give them more or sell them more on something that might be really basic, at least in their eyes. Yeah. So we're trying to learn to change how we speak to where it's not so much, it's more of an intimate approach. It's more of a, how can I help you? So it's not like I own an agency, but it's talking in terms of I consult on marketing and advertising. I help businesses, overcome certain obstacles.
That's great. Yeah.
And changing the dialogues where now that conversation is more intimate.
Yep.
Now I feel people are more open to sharing a problem. We can talk about it, and how I help you solve that problem could mean that I tap my resources, or it could mean that you just needed 10 minutes of my time and we're done.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's
so
a
that
great.
Also saves us the trouble of trying to chase a dead end business, because there's times we chase something that's not even there, and then by the time we finally get past the conversation through the multitude of emails, and I finally land a meeting, I wasted 30 hours and ended up with nothing.
Yeah. It's all.
So
you made a great point, and I want to add one more on your three there, and that's trust. When a lot of us say marketing agency or advertising agency, a big, like you said, the wall goes up, but a lot of companies have gotten screwed by a similar marketing agency or advertising agency. So that's another big aspect of it. So the biggest thing that you guys need to work on is just that value proposition. What do you guys do that sets you guys apart? More of like a consultant, like you said, or maybe a growth partner is what you could consider this.
Or a growth partner. Yeah, I like that. I think that's if I can, and I think we'll get there. I think we are getting there. Yeah. But I think that's the one thing I would like to see.
That's amazing.
Us do better.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I love that you have found that, and that you found that's something you need to pivot with in your agency, because you can keep trucking through the mud, but you're not going to get anywhere, and it's going to take a lot longer. Where if you figure out what the issue is, get out of the rut, and then continue moving forward, it's going to be a lot more smooth sailing. So I appreciate you being open like that, George. That was amazing. Now,
absolutely.
For young entrepreneurs or marketers just getting started in this industry, what is some of the best advice you have for them taking their first steps?
Especially today. I don't think that there isn't a place for someone in this business. The industry is growing. It may be changing, but there's always going to be a place for someone. There's always going to be a job. There's always going to be a position. I don't think that'll ever change. I think people entering the market have to just be open to approaching it a little differently. Let's say you started your career path 5 years ago, took the long road through college, right? And that was before AI became a thing. And so you had your heart set on becoming one thing in this industry. I think you need to be open to being different things in this industry. It doesn't, you may have started with one thing in mind, but it doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, you are going to be a marketing and advertising professional. It may change the position you wanted to do, but it doesn't change the fact that this is the career you wanted to be in. So still be in this career, but maybe just change what you think you can offer this industry as a professional.
That's a great piece of advice, George, especially with someone that has, we could do the calculation. What are you have 20 plus years for sure in the industry. So for someone with 20 plus years, that's amazing. It's got to be amazing advice, right?
Yeah. Next year is 2026. So if I count from 2016 to 2026, you do the math. but on and off over the years, obviously military and getting out of the military. But yeah, a lot of years in this business. Still, I think you never stop learning. Always stay curious. Yeah. Always be open to the idea of pivoting when you need to. We're the barometer. We feel everything first. The economy changes, we feel it.
Yeah.
Uh, Consumer habits change, we feel it. We sense everything before everyone else does.
Hmm.
We know that the market's going to crash before the market crashes.
Hmm.
And so you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to just change and kind of evolve into something else. COVID's going to happen. Things like that happen.
Yeah.
And when they do, you have to be able to kind of change the way you approach things.
I love how you said you have to be ready to pivot. And that is crucial in this moment and this time today, because we have this tool called AI that we spoke about earlier that is
Hmm.
changing so much, which is causing pivots to happen way quicker, causing the industry to become saturated just a little bit more every single day, and causing us to differentiate ourselves, just like our marketing pieces for our clients.
Yeah.
It's all about, like you said, we need to find a way to stand out and show our value, to as a growth partner, as an agency, as a consultant, as whoever we are, into the value that we are giving our clients. So, George, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. We
Absolutely.
have learned a lot of knowledge about yourself, a lot of experience, and I appreciate you taking the time to share that.
Absolutely. It's been fun.
Thank you.